what we're facing. So you may say, but what does this has to do with the media and overcoming in this media saturated world? Well, obviously the message is going to be spread out better throughout the media world. But let me explain you the connection. Well, first of all, so that you know how our society has declined. First, we had the printed world, the printed word, because we're talking about pre-modern, modern, and postmodern. So first we had the printed word. The first, and you know what was the first thing printed? It was the Bible. That was the first thing printed. They created the printed word, or the printing, so that we could print Bibles. And by the way, this was done in the house of a philosopher named Voltaire. And this guy was the guy who had said that he made a pronunciation, he made a prophecy. He said this was a philosopher and a writer, and he thought he was big stuff. And he said in 100 years, the Bibles it's not going to longer exist. You will only find Bibles in antique houses full of dust and shelves. But my books are going to surpass. This is Voltaire. So the time passed, and it just happened to be, I don't know, these are like those God things that happen, that Voltaire died, his books died, his fame died. Many of you are like, Voltaire, who in the world is that guy? His fame died, and then for some reason, the first Bible printing house was in his house. In Voltaire's house. That was the first place where the Bibles began to be printed. So he made this very strong pronunciation, and let me tell you that still today the Bible is the best-selling book of all times, of all history. Nothing has been able to surpass, not even Shakespeare or these books. You see, everybody has, I'm talking about general, but everybody has a Bible, not everybody has Shakespeare. The Bible's still the number one selling book, and the book translated into most languages than any other book. And if there's a new dialect discovered, the Bible will be translated into that dialect. That's how powerful this book is. The first was the printed word. We got, intellect, we got to read books, now we got to print them. We obviously were writing, but now we got to print it. But then after the printed word, we got pictures and television. We got images, pictures, and from pictures we created television. I think, I was watching a program, don't quote me on this, but I believe the pioneer for television was also Thomas Edison, because he created light, in the sense of the light bulb, and he started playing with that. I was watching a documentary that he also introduced this to a very powerful investor in the United States, a capitalist, and he presented to him moving still images, moving pictures. From there we got the motion picture, because he had light, he knew, started what to do with light, playing with light, created a box, and television, or the television was developed. Amen. I'm just kidding. Some people call it the one-eye monster. So television came after. Then we got, after television, the next biggest boom. The internet. Cyberspace. That's the next boom. That was from modernists. Modernists gave us the internet. I don't really know Al Gore invented the internet. That's debatable. When I went to Geneva in Switzerland, at CERN, which is a science place, a scientific research place where they're trying to discover the God particle. I was walking in there, and they have in their sign outside where it says "Welcome to CERN." It says where the first website was built. the first web address was built. So again, Al Gore, CERN, who knows who created it. But we know that the modernists gave us the World Wide Web. And it came, and consequentially after this internet, we got social network. Social networking. I know the biggest before Facebook. I know there's been several, and we could go back as old as you are, then you will remember older places, and things. What I remember very strongly before Facebook was MySpace. MySpace kind of took it to a new level. Because before it was chat rooms, chatting here in this room, in that room. AOL gave us a messenger first, and then chat rooms came along, and then social networking came from the chat rooms, and it evolved to MySpace. And after MySpace came Facebook. But Facebook came, and it's still about words. You see, the printed word was about words. When we got to television and pictures, we kind of went a little bit away from words. Now we're more into images. Then social networking came and brought back words, writing to each other. But then we couldn't stay there, so we saw the transition. Then we go to less words, to Twitter. You don't want to write too long, because people are ADD and they're not going to read your post. When you're scrolling and you see a post this big, you just, next. You keep going like, I don't have time for this long post. You want something fast and a hashtag that, I kind of know what you're talking about, and that's it. And obviously we are making people more ADD by the day. So we got Twitter. And Twitter, less words. You have limited space for you to write your message. But after Twitter, we go into the big jump. We abandon words. Words, they don't even matter. Who's talking about words today? Introducing Instagram. You do not need words. Introducing Snapchat. Oh yeah, you didn't know that? You can chat without words. You just do it through snaps. You just need to snap a picture and create, and you're chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting. And I never understood it. I have a Facebook account. I have Twitter. I hardly ever do any Twitter. I have a Facebook account that I check maybe once every 2 weeks. But when the young people started going into Instagram, I didn't understand it. I was like, what are you doing? You just take a picture? And then what? So there's no conversation, no talking, no nothing, no comments. It's like picture. And people are sharing their pictures. And the interesting thing, so that you understand how society is evolving, who are the main consumers of Instagram? The youngest generation. You see, the youngest generation abandoned Facebook a long time ago. Because the younger generation, Facebook started in college. It was only for colleges. Back in 2006, 2007, only for colleges. Then after that, they opened to everybody. So the young people, there was an age requirement, but then after that, they took it away, and now all the young people, they flocked into Facebook. Then their parents got into Facebook, and then they flocked out of Facebook, and they went into Instagram. So my dad is in Facebook? No, and they left Facebook, and the young people left to Instagram. That's where they flocked to. And I was like, what in the world? How do you communicate? It's like sign language. They're talking like this, But what we don't understand is that it's the progression of society. You see, society now is not about words. Society is about images. That's what we're selling. We're just selling images. We're selling images. And then we got technology, the mobile devices that even enhance more the world of images, and for you to take pictures anywhere. And then we got the highest year of selfies in 2014. I was walking by Lincoln Road with my in-laws when they came to visit, and I had to stop and look at a couple. I was like, what? There was this couple taking a selfie with their phone. But what's interesting is that they had a device that will help them take a better selfie. It was a huge rod that held the phone at the perfect angle, and they were like this, taking a selfie. And I was like, what? I have never seen, that's kind of handy, but I'd never seen that before. I don't know if it turns into a cane, and then whatever, or you just minimize and put in your pocket, but I'm telling you, I was like, oh, wow. That's where we're in now. We're in the world of selfies, and there's all kinds of good things and terrible things and tragedies in the world of selfies. We know a bunch of Hollywood actresses got in trouble because of all their selfies. So we know that the world is moving by that, the world of images. Now, technology made this possible, took us to a whole new level. And technology took us to a whole new level where our time is being robbed and our minds are being changed. Our minds are being altered. You see, before we talked about gamers. Oh, these kids are addicted to Sega or whatever, Xbox, and they're there for hours. And we saw that as a problem. Remember, we saw that as a problem. The kids are addicted to games. But now, this week, I went to Texas Roadhouse Grill, and I'm sitting there with my kids, and they're doing their drawing and balloon stuff, and then there's come this father with two kids through the door, and the kids are like this. They have two iPads, one on each hand. They're little kids, like this size, and they're both like this, like just following the foot of the father. They don't make eye contact. They're just they're playing a game. They can walk to their booth playing the game. And they probably can win too. And then I was thinking, wow, incredible, where this world of media and technology, you see, the world of media and technology are joined together. The more technology evolves, the greater media and networking it gets the greater, and the greater these things grow, the more it affects our culture. The more it affects our minds, the more it affects our brains. I'm not going to go into the brain studies of the troubles and the dangers of being connected so much, and also of looking at a screen for so many hours and flashing images. You see, the thing is, that's flashing images. Your brain can only take so much. And studies are showing that there is a part of the brain that is getting bigger, that is swelling throughout the years because of this. So I'm not going to go and try to scare all of us into what's going on inside our brains. Amen. But there is something. Later on, we'll get into that scare. But one thing I will share with you, Steve Jobs was in an interview. He was asked, he was still alive. They're talking to him about the iPad, and the newsman asked him, wow, your son must love the iPad. And it says, and he responded, my son has never played with the iPad. And it's like, why? What do you, he says, no, we control technology at our home. That was Steve Jobs, the creator of the iPad. Because they know in their research the effects on developing brains, especially on developing brains, little kids' brains that are developing. That's why his kids go to a technology-free school where you will not even find one computer in the whole campus. You know what they do? They farm, they build. This is the school, the most expensive school in the United States, in California, where there's not one computer. And the Google executives are also doing that. One of the top Google executives in an interview said, my kids have never browsed through Google. Why? Because they don't want to say why. Oh, because you see, we did some research and this is what's happening to the kids that are addicted to the internet and the world of media. No, they're saying, no, we just control our technology in our house. It's our personal conviction. So what's happening is that we're going to see, and a Google executive said, we haven't seen the effects yet of what these technologies are doing to our brains. Says we haven't. This is so new. We haven't seen. We're going to see it later.